your bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very warm welcome and a very good evening. Welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalod Sign Language Interpretation. Now, before we get into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. In our headlines tonight, Katumba Wamala holds Thanksgiving a year after surviving attempted assassination. Bunyoro Kitara to hold Mpango celebrations on Saturday. Pader war claimants squander compensation funds. And in sports, Uganda off to the small start at AFCON 2023. A very good evening once again and welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight. Now we start off with our first headlining story this evening. Couples, the Vice President Major Jessica Lupo has advised young couples to put God at the center of their marriage and keep him close to have a long-lasting marriage. The Vice President Lupo was speaking at the wedding of Ivan and Diana Mutasingwa at Speak Resort, Munyonyo. Ivan, an LC3 councillor in Kampala Central, is a brother to the Minister of State in office of the Vice President, while Diana is a daughter to General Kavuma. Alupo thanked God for enabling her to be physically present at the wedding party.
Vice President Major Retired Jessica Alupo, who thanked God for enabling her to be physically present, spoke fondly of General Kavuma, father of the bride, who she said had played a big role in pacification of Teso, earning him the name Opolot in deep respect and gratitude for his role and commitment to peace.
General Kavuma worked in Teso, worked in Lango, worked in Acholi, worked in Karamoja, and worked so well to secure and bring peace to the people of that angle. To the extent that we named him Opolot, is Onach Opolot, meaning brother Opolot. We call him our brother, and his name is Opolot. Opolot is pure of heart, someone with a pure heart.
Flanked by the Deputy Speaker of Uganda's Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, the Vice President also expressed her gratitude to Honorable Diana Mutasingwa for being a proactive and hard worker who is quick to suggest solutions to pressing challenges.
Diana, thank you very much for being very proactive. I know you for being very proactive minister, and very easy to work with. I have been together with the team in the office, grooming her, and we will continue grooming her.
She donated a cow to the couple. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, urged the couple to grow continuously in love, because where there is love, there is a way.
Ivan yondiza kweta tuganire byitu nyo kugambira go rukiga proper kandi tu indeed ntwikirizanga na kugira ngo rukundo mu buto rukundo mu bukuru haboko biri rukundo no mukikura ratagata tokagira ubuzibu nakace na myaka kinana ratagata kandi bitari mu rukundo na nobo nirarafuka.
General Sam Kavuma spoke fondly of his daughter while counseling her.
When you were born, you did not have a husband. And today, you have one in the names of Ivan Alvin Mutasingwa. You should therefore consider yourself as a very lucky young girl.
Ivan Mutasingwa, a first-class degree holder in economics and finance, was hailed by his father, Charles Mutasingwa, for being outstanding, very brilliant boy and business partner.
You are going to start the journey from today. Life, it is a journey. Ivan, from today, you are head of the family. But Diana, she's heart of the family.
On her part, Honorable Diana Mutasingwa thanked her brother for being strong-willed, selfless, patient, and loving.
We toast to Ivan and Diana. Congratulations.
Several other dignitaries present at the function gave tributes to the couple. Etole Ed Akenjul, UBC News.
Wonderful. Now, as a way of appreciating God for saving him from assassins, General Katumba Wamala has rallied fellow leaders in a fundraising drive for church construction. Katumba, who sustained serious bullet injuries in an assassination attempt that claimed his daughter in June 2021, is thankful to the Almighty for saving his life. Prime Minister Robina Nabanja represented President Yoweri Museveni at the event, where she delivered 50 million Uganda shillings from the head of state. Take a look.
General Katumba Wamala would probably be dead by now had it not been for the mercy of God that saw him survive an assassination. His daughter that died in the homicide may be long dead, but his appreciation to the Almighty for saving him is all evident.
It was by His grace that I'm not being referred to as the late Katumba.
1 year later, the best gesture for him is to appreciate God for saving him. This is why he is mobilizing resources for construction of a new church, St. Mark Chikandwa Church of Uganda, in Nakifuma County, Mukono District.
Enkumbi eno gye ngenda okutema olwaleero ngitema kuba pulezidenti w'eggwanga. Emirembe egyaleetebwa NRM gye gitusobozesa okuzimba amakanisa na byonna bye mumanyi mu ggwanga lino.
The groundbreaking ceremony was performed by the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, who represented President Yoweri Museveni.
Let me take the honor to unveil the construction of Chikandwa, St. Mark, Church of Uganda.
This was preceded by a fundraising and thanksgiving ceremony for General Katumba Wamala's family. The main celebrant was His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. Nabanja delivered 50 million shillings donated by President Yoweri Museveni, as she also contributed 10 million shillings.
The NRM has lately been encouraging churches to start up projects that sustain its leaders and activities to cause the growth of the church for it to thrive amidst challenging times like this.
The president thanked all people who contributed towards the construction and supported Chikandwa Church of Uganda.
This occasion presents to all of us a challenge and a call for us to carry each other's burden in service by giving part of our proceeds to God. Gone are days when the church was fully dependent on the believers for the survival of its leaders and the welfare of church activities.
On his part, General Katumba Wamala thanked God for allowing him the second chance to live. He also thanked the president for standing with him during that trying moment.
The president stood with me. Even as I was being rushed into the stabilization hall place at Malcolm Hospital before I went to the major surgery, among the first telephones which came in was HE, the president's call. I want to thank him for being so fatherly. He comforted me, he talked to me, and he gave me encouragement.
The occasion was attended and graced by many other dignitaries, including ministers, members of parliament, senior government officials, and the business community. Prominent among them were Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Taiwa, the third Deputy Prime Minister Rukia Nakadama, and Sam Kutesa, the former Foreign Affairs Minister.
Residents of Rushere Town Council in Chiruhura district are anxiously waiting for a sports tournament that has been rescheduled for the 14th of June. The tournament was previously planned for this Sunday, the 5th of June 2022. The Mayor Rushere Town Council, King Martin Chanyawanga, pledges full support towards the success of the event, meant to be a homecoming for Land Forces Commander Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
Kashara Playground in Chiruhula district will be the place to be come Tuesday 14th June 2022 as the Commander Land Forces Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba officiates a sports tournament.
Lose hope because this is his homeland. Anytime, either at night or during the daytime, is allowed to come.
The Mayor Rushere Town Council, King Martin Chanyawanga, appeals to residents to embrace the event that is meant to be the homecoming for the Land Forces Commander, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
We organized that tournament very well and we are ready.
The switching of dates and venue was welcomed by area leaders to ensure a more organized planning. The sports event was previously meant for this Sunday, 5th June 2022. Sezi Mwetwale is the Speaker of Chiruhura District Local Government Council, who is looking forward to hosting this grand event.
I thank him because we are having more time to organize better. We are having a tournament which will be on that 14th.
Residents of Rushere and Nyakashara are equally anxious to host the event.
Twine chikachiango mnonga cyo kwakira umugenyi witwa General Muhoozi.
Sangwa Nyakashara dayari saba abantu bakiruhura abereho kwemereza kwa MK euro 5 konke 2012 natekwa kwisha
ije 2012 tumutangirire tuna twatanise hamwe na rukundo no kumwakira.
You all welcome people from all over the country, people from neighboring districts like Sembabuli, Chiruhura, and Kazo. We have people from Bara, we have those from Lyantonde and other districts. You all welcome.
General Muhoozi Kainerugaba homecoming tournament will be held on 14th June at Nyakashara Playground in Chiruhura district. Jane Nyiramchia, UBC News.
Now, a number of war claimants in Pade district who recently received money as livestock compensation are reportedly misusing the money on unproductive work. Pade district resident commissioner Milton Odongo says a number of beneficiaries are misusing the money and might soon regret. Take a look.
738 war claimants out of 1,119 in Padere district have received compensation money for the livestock they lost during the previous conflicts. However, the money has not served the intended purpose, as most of them have reportedly diverted money for buying prostitutes and alcohol.
Now, those who started getting money, our intelligence have indicated to us, they are starting misusing the money. They are buying with the Malaya to have sex. They are now drinking money, excessive drinking, which leads to low productivity. You get drunk at night, you cannot work on your wife, and then it causes domestic violence. Why are you misusing the money?
Prostitutes from Gulu City are now flooding in Padere Town Council after learning that government had started compensating the war claimants.
Now, you could have seen when we were seated here. Have you not seen it? Malayas have left other towns in Gulu. They are now here. These people, there were some people with big battles here, disturbing us here with big battles. They are looking for this money of the war claimants.
Padere District Resident Commissioner Milton Odongo cautioned the unpaid beneficiary against misusing money in case they get paid.
Buy cows so that you multiply the cows. In the future, you send your children to school, educate them, it improve your income. Maybe if the cow reaches like 150, your son also marries a woman, so that you remember that this is my daughter-in-law. And this is how to go, but not just buying Malayas.
Odongo also lashed out to government critics who are claiming that the beneficiaries are being cheated.
Now, somebody was saying that, this government wants the people of actually to remain poor because they are paying 1 million. The criteria of paying this money was 15%. To all 15% of every animal you have claimed. But now, for the case of Padere, we have decided that instead of 15, we are starting with 1 million per cow. And that is the figure we are going with, 1 million. Meaning if you are claiming 30 cows, that is 30 million, like that.
This matter was raised in the local accountability meeting held by the Office of the Prime Minister in Padere Town Council. Joseph Oko, UBC.
Preparations are underway for Bunyoro Kingdom's 25th Mpango anniversary of Omukama Solomon Gafabusa Iguru I on the 11th of June this year at the King's Palace, Karuzika in Hoima City. Bunyoro Kingdom Prime Minister Andrew Byakutaga told the residents of Kagadi district to embrace culture and posterity.
It is party after party across Bunyoro Kingdom as one of Uganda's oldest kingdoms prepares for the 28th coronation anniversary of Omukama Solomon Gafabusa Iguru I on 11th June this year. The Bunyoro Kingdom Prime Minister Andrew Byakutaga joined Kagadi district residents for their Echoto culture rite held at Kagadi Hospital. The Premier urged the Banyoro and mostly the cultural leaders to work towards revival of good cultural practices and empower the young generation with values, norms and morals.
The Kingdom set up an organizing committee to prepare for the commemoration ceremony, and the committee is chaired by Right Honorable Jonathan Nduwa Mutiti, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Culture. Other members include Honorable Dina Kasanaki, the Minister of Gender, Honorable Katende Patrick, the Minister of Social Affairs, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Mr. Alex Katusabe, and departmental heads at the BKK Secretariat.
Buyaga County Chief Francis Byamukama thanked Bunyoro Premier for striving to revive cultural norms in the kingdom.
Hanyuma yewe byone ntabantu bayesorozaga nibajya Kyoto abagurusi runda abanyineka nibaterera rundi nibabaliza abana babo nibabalizeka nibabaliza ikyaro burya bagakyaro kyona bayizire haga Kyoto hano nibabaliza niko ngamba nihayikara haroho businge kuleta businge kubaza bike birunge binakorwa kwegesa abantu umulingo bari nakwitwara bike bari nakora kuranti tabayireho njara balimire kurungi.
Vice Chairman Kagadi Central Ward thanked the Premier for gracing the Echoto and urged Kingdom leaders to continue upholding cultural practices. A health worker attached to Kagadi Hospital, Vincent Bisobora, appreciated the area chief for galvanizing the significance of Echoto in promoting Banyoro cultural values that bind them together.
Abazaire betaga abana nibagambire bigendo maiso nibagambire mbera nko kweri nibagambira ngire bakwera bya nibolekya the way how somebody should behave. Bana bange kiro kine merete baireyo kyoka munyoto chai muri akenjwa ko muri akahogako tukoleki munyo ho tuzi tukoleki tubiyame. It was the scent of consolation kuyo musagency bintu bena na higira siba na higa kwiga kwarema yaja no muhogo yaja negonje yaja ne bokora by then yaja na no musu enende. For those who do not know culture, enende bageta dikidiki almost like it's ediborati.
A health worker at Kagadi Hospital, Jen Tohaise, appealed to all public servants to support the kingdom's efforts to extend services to the Omukama's subjects.
Then nemyetwalize obwokuruga hamulimo ogarukire omuka. Emyetwalize y'omuntu arugire hamulimo n'omusoso yatemberi tukuikana. Nibwo omuramwa ogwakirokero. Ekintu kinu tata omwikirwa tinkitekanize nyenga. Ngeri kyali kiroto kyaitu nyine komiti ey'abasajja n'abakazi enkwatangabo.
The Echoto, all evening fireplace, is a ritual characterized by storytelling, meat roasting, sharing and cultural dances. It symbolizes solidarity, peace and unity. Sudat Kaye, Andrew Musinguzi, UBC News.
The Parish Development Model Program in charge for Kampala, Hajat Asia Chinabi Nabisere, has assured Kampala residents that government has set aside enough money to uplift grassroots people. She made the revelation while on a walking tour of Nakawa.
The focal person Parish Development Model Program for Kampala, Hajati Asia Chinabi Nabisere, is sensitizing Kampala residents about the program in the 5 divisions of Kampala district. The Parish Development Model takes priority of training them before intended beneficiaries receive funds. A training has been conducted in Nakawa Division, with Hajati Chinabi meeting groups that include 11 zones from Banda Parish, Ntinda, Chambogo, to mention a few.
Even the bylaws, that you normally pick from cooperative house. They are going to find you in your parishes and they are going to be filled free of charge.
Among those in attendance have been chapati dealers, mango, maize and tomato vendors, and artists who said they eagerly waited the funds.
When I buy it at 10,000, at least I got something of 5,000 or 8,000. The expectation is I need government to help me so that I should not remain on this amount.
EDM is going to help the community in one way or the other, that they have brought this program to the parish level. That all the clustering that they are doing, different low people are going to benefit.
Despite the query among political leaders and residents about whether the funds will be enough, Hajati Chinabi assured the government will do whatever it takes.
The Parish Development Model as a program is not bad, but you find that now the issue of parishes, you cannot give 17 million shillings to all parishes. Some parishes in Kampala are overly populated. You find that you can't give those people the same money
because of their numbers. Like for instance, Mbuya 2. Under the enterprise of Tony Nyira, we have about 324 women. We have another enterprise of Malwa. We have about 160 women. So they are worried about money not being enough. But we have encouraged them to do the PBMIS, Parish-Based Management Information System pillar. Once we capture their information and identify their needs, they will have budgetary reflections that we shall have to take back to the authorities to be addressed.
The funds are expected to be deposited on different group accounts beginning 15th June. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Christians have been asked to emulate the example of Saint Javida by being determined and loving their religion. Archbishop Dr. Augustine Kasuja was presiding over Saint Javida Seguku Catholic Sub-Parish Patrons Day Saint celebrations. Take a look.
Saint Javida was a Ugandan born at Seguku who was among the martyrs killed at Namgongo in 1886. Seguku Catholic Sub-Parish has celebrated the annual Patron Saint's Day and the life of the church where he is born.
Saint Javira is one of the martyrs of Uganda. He was killed at the age of 17, and on this occasion, this church wanted to celebrate the annual feast of this saint, of its patron saint, Javira, who was born here. But they added not only the celebration of the life of Javira, but also the life of the church that is now here, where he was born.
The Pope's Pronuncio, Archbishop Emeritus Dr. Augustine Kasuja, says people must have faith, love each other and emulate the example of Saint Javira. The occasion was characterized by fundraising towards the construction of Saint Javira Catholic Sub-Parish, Seguku Reza Parish.
The church is coming up, but it is still to be finished. They still need new windows. Someone has offered to work on the veranda, and it has just started. But the windows have to still be finished. The building has to be repainted, and so on.
The head of laity at St. Javira Catholic Sub-Parish, Muwanga Robert Matovu, asked Christians to stand for the truth and facts for their faith.
You have to stand on your legs. You must stand for the facts and stand for your faith. Saint Javira, of course, was coming from a family that, of course, had either witchcraft or all other kinds of beliefs and so on, which made it very difficult for him actually to do what he had to do. But he took a stand.
2 couples were wedded and 21 children received their first communion.
Been wedded by the Archbishop here, but also for us we are very fortunate that they are actually the first 2 couples that have been wedded in this church, and therefore we are quite fortunate from that perspective. But the message that we pass on, that now they should actually honor the commitments they have actually made today.
The function was characterized with a procession, blessing of Saint Javira sculpture, and laying the stone for the grotto. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Fort Portal Diocese has described Uganda Martyrs' Day celebrations at Namugongo Basilica, in which they were the diocese that animated the Mass, as colourful and angelic. On the 3rd of June this week, thousands of people turned up at Namugongo Martyrs' Shrine to celebrate the annual Uganda Martyrs' Day that was animated by Fort Portal Diocese. Take a look.
On the sidelines of Sunday Mass at Virika Cathedral in Fort Portal, the institution's communication officer, Sister Unia Mora, says their participation in Namugongo Martyrs Mass was colorful and angelic. Sister Mora, who was part of a 300 choir members that participated in the Martyrs' Day celebrations, says the outcome of their participation was beyond their expectations.
For anything. The time was short, but we accepted it and we owned the thing. And that's why we made it successful by the singing, because people are really accepted that now the celebration is with us. Nobody else, it's only Fort Portal. And Fort Portal, who are this Fort Portal? It is us who have been chosen as choir members, because we had auditioning, we had it in the little time, you had to do effort, like you are going to do exams. That's what we used. You are sitting the next week, you are having exams. So you have to do serious revision. That's what we did.
Some of the choir members that also revealed that the time factor was a scaring factor on their side, but trained hard to come up with the best in them.
And we thank each and everyone, everybody in Toro, not only the Catholics, but every Christian, even other Muslims, and the Muslims were behind us. They prayed for us, interceding for us, each and everyone, the congregation, the movements of Catholic Church. I thank you so much. And we presented it, and we went there presenting our diocese, and in Jesus' name we made it.
We're a big team
Robert
of
Kusemererwa,
directors of
the music director,
personally
also took part in the choir, said a number of music directors came to their rescue,
some other
and they came up with the
colleagues,
best team.
music directors from Kampala. These directors are staying at St. Paul Major Seminary. That's where they are deacons and seminarians there. Then we also managed to get some other directors from Kampala to team up with us here in Fort Portal. So we came up with that product that we delivered at Namugongo that day. That was the magic. The other magic maybe was the quality of the choir. We did not take everyone in the choir because we had to first take them, we had to first sieve them. We took them through auditions.
During the service, led by Father Silvanus Balikurunji, the faithfuls were asked to use their talents just like the choir members to glorify God. He expressed his displeasure at the rich who have used the opportunity of high commodity prices to exploit the needy. He says such acts are not godly and should be avoided.
Nutrition experts have expressed concern over the increasing food waste in Africa. In Adjumani district, which is a basket of vegetation growing, the waste has been attributed to lack of information, market, poor transportation and poor harvesting handling, among others. Sasakawa Association Africa has embarked on training smallholder farmers on horticulture, post-harvest handling, value addition and preservation.
Sasakawa Association Africa has embarked on a mass campaign aimed at training smallholder farmers in Adjumani district on the entire agriculture value chain, including production, harvesting, transportation, storage, marketing and handling.
In Adjumani we are working in 6 sub-counties, and these sub-counties were selected because they are hosting mainly the refugee communities, and the reason why we chose the vegetables, it is because these mature early.
Sasakawa market survey analysis shows that vegetable waste in Africa is due to poor transportation, inadequate access to technology and other related information.
We are talking about food which has gone through the value chain and is ready for consumption, is safe for consumption, but again it ends up being wasted because probably it has not been preserved, or there was nobody to consume it at that particular time, and when this, for example, the vegetables, the tomatoes you find in the market yard, just wasted. And then there's this food that is lost at the farm level. The post-harvest losses throughout from production up to the market. Because of poor storage, you find farmers just store anyhow. The vegetable farmers don't have cooling systems.
The field training held at Adjumani Multipurpose Center is equipping farmers with modern skills on horticulture, post-harvest handling and preservation.
We are introducing charcoal coolers. It doesn't use electricity, but it can be utilized by the different farmer groups. We're trying to put them in central places so that farmers can utilize them to preserve their produce before they sell them off. And then also the dryers, the solar dryers, so that they can add value to their produce.
Jacqueline Namsalisi is the technical coordinator, Sensitive Agriculture, Sasakawa Association Africa.
So yes, as promoting vegetable production and all the skills that we are instilling in the farmers, this is going to be beneficial, and it's going to already there are success stories. Tomatoes are being exported. Initially, tomatoes were being imported.
The farmers say the training is the best option for them to grow vegetables for home consumption and market.
So this training has given me a lot of knowledge and skills, which I think I can go and pass it to my farmers so that they can also reap from their production.
They have found something good, knowledgeable, which will help me right from today when I really get out my produce from the garden. I know how to keep it.
The produce they take to the market is valuable, and the buyers should be interested in buying it.
At the training. Smallholder farmers are also equipped with relevant skills to adopt technologies using the local materials to increase production and productivity of vegetable growing. Sudat Kaye, Robert Waita, UBC News.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we'll return after these messages.
Jennifer, Jukira, Wewagamba, I don't have waka. You passed the eyes through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jambola be waka, look at you waka, see my waka.
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Affordable packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV. This is where our best stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories. Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasaja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5 hash. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAID, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. The development and commercialization of Uganda's oil and gas resources is being undertaken through 4 flagship projects, which will bring in investment over $15 billion into the economy. The Kingfisher project will produce 40,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The Tilenga project will produce 190,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The 1,443-kilometer East African crude oil pipeline project will transport the produced crude oil to access the international market via the Tanga port in Tanzania. The Uganda refinery project will process up to 60,000 barrels of oil per day to provide petroleum products to the Ugandan market and its immediate neighbors. Additional exploration work is ongoing in the Kanyotaba and Ngasa areas in the Albertine Graben. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us here in UBC News Tonight. Now, with more stories, Ugandan members of parliament have appealed to government to prepare for a possible negative economic aftermath of the Kenyan presidential elections. Now, the call comes in the wake of increasing commodity prices, including fuel, whose main transit route to Uganda is the port of Mombasa in Kenya. As a State Minister for Trade, David Bahati allays these fears, William Ruto and Raila Odinga, the 2 main Kenyan presidential candidates, have successfully been nominated.
The consultations have been ongoing. The crowds have been growing. and now the process of nominating presidential candidates is on course.
The Electoral Code of Conduct places a responsibility on all candidates.
The successful nomination of Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto on Saturday and Azimio la Umoja's Raila Odinga on Sunday has set the pace for official campaigns. The race is tight. The excitement among supporters of the competitors is high, and the candidates are hopeful. But the situation is worrisome to some leaders in the East African region. Members of Parliament from Kenya's sovereign neighbor Uganda are some of them.
We don't know who will be the winner, how the losers will react, whether somebody will say, I congratulate you, whether they will say you have not won, whether they will decide to run to court. Such decisions have a bearing not only on Kenya, but the entire East African bloc.
Uganda must be prepared. Prepared in number one, the fuel reserves in Jinja must be stocked. The government fuel reserves, they must be stocked with enough fuel to have capacity that we can sustain our fuel capacity to almost 2 months.
Once beaten, twice shy, the Uganda legislators are worried of what may become of the exercise when the outcome is announced. Their worries stem from the 2007 to 2008 post-election violence that saw thousands killed and more thousands displaced, a situation that affected Uganda economically.
Immediately, Ugandans were affected seriously. Roads were blocked. Prices of fuel rise up to 35,000 Uganda shillings per litre. Therefore, we need to prepare ourselves as Ugandans, aware that the election for Kenya is barely 3 months left.
And because history repeats itself, at the moment the Kenyans are now going again to the elections. And Uganda, we must be brave for anything that comes out, because we are not in control of the events in Kenya. But given the race, how tight it is, we should be ready for anything.
Should there be a problem, then we have a problem in Uganda. But my call on Uganda is we have only actually 2 months to elections in Kenya. Uganda should stock the fuel.
However, these fears have been allayed by State Minister for Trade, David Bahati.
We had an issue of fuel, and His Excellency the President spoke to President Uhuru, and the Minister of Energy went there, and this has been resolved. We have now a mechanism on how the fuel that will be coming into the country will be flowing, and we don't anticipate any problem. Sometimes campaigns can be hot.
Bahati, who recently represented Uganda at the Kenyan National Thanksgiving Prayer, says the political situation that side is not worrisome.
Vice President Ruto and the running mate of Raila and the President Uhuru all spoke about guaranteeing peace during these elections, and also stopping the insults amongst each other and running a campaign based on values.
The presidential race is said to be a two-horse run between Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto on one side and Azimio la Umoja's Raila Odinga on the other. Elections are scheduled for Tuesday, 9th August 2022. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The International Justice Mission have held an open court day in Moroto District under the theme Justice is Possible, Act Now to End Violence Against Women and Girls. It was organized by Moroto Magistrate Court and International Justice Mission.
Moroto Magistrate Court, together with the International Justice Mission, has organized a court open day session to sensitize the public on court operations. Moroto Chief Magistrate Emi Geoffrey Sayeko expounded on the relevancy of court day.
Areas that we administer justice, or where our concerns in court, we have cases which come from police. The cases which come from police, Police must investigate and arrest the person and bring him to court. However, there are cases which involve you as a person against another person. For example, where you have purchased a piece of land and the person has not given you your land.
Many of the Karamojong narrate that they feared to approach court premises when their relatives were appearing before court.
They also say that we want to learn issues of court proceedings, but also the way they arrest culprits, bring to court, and very fast take to prison.
John Nangiro, an elder in Karamoja, wants clan leaders to be managers of administering justice in the region.
People are there to tell you, they will guide you, they are part of the management of the society. So we are only saying, recognize us also as community managers. Now, which Karamoja do you want? We also want a Karamoja that is looking at justice, that is considering humanity, not the Karamoja that has been criminalized. That is our approach. We are appealing that land listening to us also as Karamojongs. We are people who love life.
Sayeko urged Karamojongs to embrace peace for development of the region.
The issue of security is very important. A peaceful family makes progress and development. A peaceful Karamoja will help us to exploit the minerals, exploit the tourism, exploit all that it takes. And that is where it means that people will move, settle from the grass houses to modern houses, move from the level of development under which we are going on to a higher level of development when there is peace and when there is a rule of law.
Meanwhile, Moroto District Resident Commissioner George William Wupua has commended government for the prevailing rule of law.
And that's why we are here. We work according to the rule of law. Everybody who is not happy or who is aggrieved, you go to court. You don't solve it at home through wrestling or killing.
Relatedly, starting July 1st this year, Moroto District will hold High Court sessions that were previously held in Soroti City. Adia Nakuti and Maureen Niga, UBC.
Some parents have not fully embraced the value of educating their children despite government's efforts of having constructed many schools. According to the head teacher, Bakasambe Abdul, the school has only 75 pupils despite government having supported the school with infrastructure.
This is Luchamo Umea School in Busika Town Council, Uwelo District, that has only 75 children. The Universal Primary Education School has sufficient infrastructure, teachers, books, and receives UPE funds.
The staff quarters, in order to assist in removing that barrier which hinders the development of the school, whereby teachers are moving from far to come and teach. So with that note, I think if the government supports us by putting up the staff quarters, it can assist in boosting the standard of the school. Yeah.
The political leaders in the area, however, revealed that the challenges facing the school is due to former board of governors who had wrangles on land ownership with the Muslim fraternity. The Office of the State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, was on a familiarization tour to schools in Bamnanika.
To utilize this chance of good schools which are built in their areas, to take their children so that they can be trained, or they can be brought up as good leaders of tomorrow. But I'm not happy with some parents, especially Kalagala Sub-County or Busika Town Council. There are schools which are built, they have good classes, enough structures at the compound, but you can find a school with only 75 kids.
The tour aimed at monitoring government programs. The area leaders and school administrators in government and private schools encouraged government to support schools through tax exemption on internet, implement the new curriculum, and training of proprietors of private schools.
The government also to have at least some training, some training to these school proprietors to also at least be in line with what the new curriculum needs. Most of
the toilet is almost full, so the teachers share the toilet, and the bath, that is the bathroom for girls. So that is the challenge. Us, if possible, to help us provide for us furniture, enough desks, because some are sitting down. Even latrines. Forgotten latrines, even latrines, we are lacking them.
Sudat Kai, Fred Kasimante, UBC News.
St. Charles Lwanga High School, Kashekuro in Shema District has celebrated a belated Martyrs' Day with learners advised to emulate and live exemplary lives. The colorful occasion started with a holy mass that was punctuated by hymns of praise.
Martyrs' Day celebrations have continued at various locations in Uganda, like at St. Charles Lwanga Kashekuro in Shema District. Mbarara Diocesan Secretary Reverend Father Dido Shekanimanya urged learners to emulate the martyrs to live a good life.
The students will grow to emulate the Uganda martyrs. They will be faithful, and at the same time they will be determined and encourage their fellow friends, just as Charles Lwanga encouraged his fellow pages to die for what they believed.
Therefore, as children, don't be misled by any disruptions. You've come here for academics. St. Charles Lwanga, as a saint, should intercede for you so that you remain focused on your studies, you fight immorality, you don't go into things which disrupt your studies.
At +2 High School in Bushenye District, the message during this period is thanking government for the new curriculum.
We call upon our government through the Ministry of Education, if it can implement the objectives of this curriculum and fund and facilitate the teaching and learning in all the schools, including a school like this one, private schools like +2, that will work for our country.
The back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Beg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
And now into the business scene. National Water and Sewage Corporation is counting losses of 29 billion Uganda shillings due to the increasing water areas accumulated during the COVID-19 pandemic. The director, National Water and Sewage Corporation, Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha, says the areas are increasing, especially on the side of government institutions.
This is the 5th batch of National Water and Sewerage Corporation staff pass out in Kauku, Werenga, Entebbe Road after undergoing hands-on training. The training was meant to equip staff with mindset change towards the operation and loving their country while executing their duties.
So the expectation from this training is that we're going to continue improving as an organization, but also the way we are serving our customers definitely is different. When a person has gone through this training, he never stays the same. His mindset is changing.
The Executive Director, National Water and Sewerage Operation, Engineer Dr. Silva Mugisha, says the operation is counting losses of about 29 billion shillings due to non-bill payment, especially during COVID-19 pandemic.
And for us, that is affecting us as a corporation. Even the level of areas on the non-government side is also a worry for us, because our water losses are high, and what happens, those people we think are not connected on our water, they are the ones who are connected and they are consuming our water illegally.
And what we're trying to do is we're going to have a team that is dedicated to deal with that problem, but also going to encourage customers. We're going into areas payment agreements. If you're not able to clear the bill immediately, we're going to have an arrangement with you where you can pay in installments and see how we can have that money recovered.
Dr. Mugisha reminded the trainees about leadership skills that can be acquired in the execution of their duties in different departments. The corporation awarded some of the best participants, including those who have served the corporation for the last 25 years. Adia Anakuti, Sula Kagugube, UBC.
All right, and now into the sports scene. Uganda Cranes got off to a worst possible start in its quest of qualifying for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations due in Ivory Coast. Uganda started its Group F engagements away to Algeria in a game the hosts won convincingly through unanswered goals by Asimandi and Yusuf Belaili. The Cranes, that were totally outplayed at some stage, had a chance to level the scores at 1-1, but forward Farouk Mia saw his tame penalty kick saved by Algerian custodian Mustafa Zegba. The Cranes endured long periods of pressure from the Algerians that enjoyed themselves before a partisan crowd that cheered almost at every touch. The two teams returned to action on Wednesday, with the Cranes at home against Niger, that shared the points with Tanzania, that host Algeria. In other games played in the first round of the group names, Mali beat Congo 4-0. Mauritania outclassed Sudan 3-0. Reigning African champions Senegal edged Benin 3-1, while Democratic Republic of Congo lost 1-0 to Gabon. There are 12 games at this stage, with the top two from each assured a place at the final tournament in Ivory Coast next June. Now, once in a while here at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, we move around in search of several Ugandans that at their prime did wonders for this country. This time out, we sought former football players who, under their former footballers initiative, have forged on. Take a look.
Caring Heart of Victory Community Church on Kagula Hill, Wakiso District is where we found former footballers that had paid a courtesy visit to the chairperson of the Former Footballers Initiative, Pastor Paul Musisi. Among these were Paul Yeuma, John Baptist Intensibe, Obadia Semakula, and Saul Kivumbi. It was great to see 80-year-old Paul Yeuma, who at his prime was influential for the Uganda Cranes.
Lately, actually, I'm still going strong, though that I'm 80 now. But I still pray that he has to give me that chance again to live for another 5-10 years. I want to make it 90.
Obadia Semakula, fondly known as Musamvwe Gwanga, translated as Uganda's number 7, had an opinion about the current crop.
Uganda of today, that the young players have misplaced themselves. They have failed to maintain what they are supposed to do as we did. We played football with a low advantage, with the better coaches, and now this time you find each player saying, I've retired, I've retired.
Of the four we met at Caring Heart Victory Community Church at Kagula Hill in Wakiso District, Sol Kivumbi is the least known, but his advice to the current crop is monumental.
Kyekirese Former Footballers Initiative oluvannyuma lw'omupiira kiki ogenda okukola. So our message is, or gospel, nti abaana abasamba omupiira today bagende wamu n'okusoma.
Ever since we started our interaction with former footballers, we had never met John Baptist Intensibe. This certified grade 2 teacher's journey in football in Uganda's 1970s has stayed him at Luzira Maximum Prison and Butabeka Hospital just for refusing to sign for some football club.
Masaka nasobola kusambira Ministry of Works nenjivamu nensambira Masaka Union. Awo Nasulu yali commanding officer wa Masaka.
As a born of Masaka, I first played for Ministry of Works, but all along, Nasuru, very prominent name of the time, was interested in me and never let me free. Intensive chose Express FC over Army side Simba, and is one of the reasons Express was banned and also landed the player into prison for alleged treason.
Nasulu yalinga achanjagalira tusamba omupiira ne Express ne Simba olunga ne Mondo emizinga gijja ku kisaawe na Kivubo.
One day, after having a splendid game for Express FC, I traveled to watch another game of football. Unfortunately for me, Nasuru was in close proximity. Ordered the gates closed, and I was arrested, bundled into Makindye barracks. What happened in there was very terrible. Worse off than even what many now call at Narufenya. But I finally managed to move out because I was battle-hardened after experience with him. Intensive is one of those under Former Footballers Initiative, which is a non-government organization chaired by Pastor Paul Musisi. It aims at a better life through money-making ventures for the players and provision of education for their children. John Burns, Sentamu, reporting.
Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but before we leave, let's first take another look at the top stories of the night. And in our top stories tonight, Katumba Wamala holds Thanksgiving a year after surviving attempted assassination. Bunyoro Kitara to hold Mpangu celebrations on Saturday. Pade war claimants squander compensation funds. And in sports, Uganda off to dismal start in AFCON 2023. Well, join us at 10 o'clock for our second edition of UBC News Tonight for this and much, much more stories. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad on Sign Language Interpretation. We will see you at 10.
Water gives life. Water is life. But not all water is created equal.